How are you, everybody? Welcome back. It's your buddy Orange Hat here to bring you another theme stream in December. Today begins the Under the Radar films. Now, I'm not doing this as a script. I like to give you guys off the cuff. I don't do scripts because honestly, they they make me feel less genuine, you know? I mean, yes, there are pros and cons, but I actually like to do it unscripted because that way I come across as my most genuine self. Now, before we get started, I do want to thank my buddy Vanya in the chat right now. He actually alerted me to the fact that my video that I had just released and which is now private about Disney's promotional. Well, folks, that one had no audio. There was an audio issue, and I do apologize. I will be redoing that video after this stream. So thanks again to Vanya for letting me know. And yes, to all those who are watching on X, get ready. Shout out to Gina Carano for this. This is her, I believe, her first film. These are movies that flew under the radar, folks. I have other ones from different times and whatnot. They flew under the radar before they really hit their stride and became well known. And Haywire is one of those films. I did not know about Haywire until 2019, 2020, when I first heard of it. And then I watched it and it's like, holy crap, this is actually a very good film, you know? Why haven't I heard of this before? I never saw any promotionals, never saw any trailers. Nope, this film just skirted under the radar and went largely unnoticed by a lot of people. Not just me, but I've actually asked, it's like, when did you first hear about the movie Haywire? You know? And a lot of people that I asked honestly didn't hear about Haywire until Gina Carano's unfair firing from Disney. So people started largely checking out Gina Carano, learned that she had the movie. A lot of people actually liked the movie. So I do have some overlays and whatnot, specifically. Well, here's the poster for it. They gave her no choice. I mean, this movie is aptly named due to the fact that Gina Carano goes on a mission and everything basically goes haywire after the mission is complete. So they send her on another mission, and that's when shit hits the fan, goes haywire. And, well, it's a really fast-paced film. Now, I love this film because it doesn't start at the mission. It starts after the mission, and they go back. Now, this movie has excellent, and when I say excellent, I mean excellent cast members. Now, let me see here. I do not require audio, so I'm going to share this from my Fandango at Home account. Shout out to Fandango at Home. They have the best digital library that you can, or that is available online. And this is the movie that I watched. It is an hour 33. It's incredibly fast paced. Steven Soderbergh, director, honestly, or Gina Carano, Michael Fassbender, Ewan McGregor, with part of his face not in the camera, Bill Paxton, the legend, Channing Tatum, Antonio Banderas, Michael Douglas. I mean, these are great actors they got for this film that skirted under the radar. Michael Angarano from The Forbidden Kingdom, Anthony Wong, who was the journalist, and Aaron Cohen, who played Jamie. Now, folks, let's see what kind of movies Steven Soderbergh did other than Haywire, because honestly, I am curious to know a little bit more. Tell me more, tell me more. And let's also get to the chat. Say hello to everybody in the chat while this loads. Yes, this is great. Michael Fassbender. Yes. Now, folks, another thing that I really loved about this movie, and I do apologize for any audio chop while the thing loads. It seems to be taking forever. Okay, there we go. It still seems to be taking forever. I do apologize for that. Okay, so let's see here. But while we're in there, for those of you on X who are watching on X, thank you so much. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, shout out to you. Thank you so much. Okay, so Magic Mike, he did Bill and Ted's Face the Music. Leavenworth beats perfect. Now Apocalypse. Okay. Ocean's 8. The King, Logan Lucky. So he was the Magic Mike guy, essentially. And it looks like a few of his movies are on sale right now. Contagion, Side Effects, Oceans. Okay, so he's got the Oceans movies under his belt. This dude did a good job with Haywire, I'm not going to lie. So, yes, this guy definitely has movies that are known under his belt. And he seems to have been in it for quite a bit. So, yeah. Steven Soderbergh, good a director of note. Now, let's get back to this. There's no more need to show that. Let's see. Stop sharing. There, that should actually make the buffering stop. I do apologize if there was any audio issues. But getting back to it, I mean, this movie, folks, one of the best things I like about this movie, it goes off the rails. Not in a bad way, in a good way, because Channing Tatum meets Gina Carano in the or in this nice little cafe, and you don't know what everything is until you really start to get the full context of the story. But she's like, I wanted this guy to come, not you. What? I mean, why did they send you? And he's like, well, just get in the car. We'll talk about it there on the way. And so she's not willing to get in the car. She's been apparently having a hard time because this movie starts with the camera panning down to her. And you hear her sniffling, so she's kind of got a cold coming on. But she really does, or she looks like she's been through hell, essentially. And when this thing kicks off, folks, Channing Tatum literally, well, in the movie, his character throws hot coffee right in her face and then just starts beating the shit out of her. And I'm like, what the fuck? Holy shit. I mean, when I watch that scene, and it's like, holy shit, it's this scene here. She eventually does get the upper hand due to the fact that a couple of other people step in, and Michael Angarano happens to be one of them. But this scene, holy crap, dude. She just, or he smacks her or throws the coffee in her face, smacks her with the, I think the carafe of coffee, or with the coffee cup itself. And it's like, oh, damn. This is no holds barred, you know? This really does show that that there are no rules in these fights. But she also shows off her mixed martial arts skills, and she does a great job in it. Her acting is very straightforward. That's one of the things that I actually do like about this movie. I believe this is her first movie. And yeah, it's rather straightforward. It shows that she's a no bullshit kind of person. And I really do like it. Now, she also has to fight in this get up later on. And I gotta say, she looks radiant in this one. And this is not me being a shill or anything like that, folks. Gina Carano is just a great person and a good actress. And a very talented fighter. And her skills as a fighter come out specifically in this fight later on. But yeah, she then takes or Michael Angarano hostage. Well, not so much hostage, but she then starts telling him everything that's happened to her. And a lot of people are going to be wondering, like, why tell him your life story right now? Well, there does happen to be a reason. It's to keep him alive. Because, well, yeah, also to let the people who are after her know that she's told, or if she's told one person, she's probably told numerous people. So, yeah, it's rather smart writing right there. And so she goes, I mean, there's Barcelona, there's Dublin, there's Rosberg, and there's places in the US, as well as I do believe Mexico, because Antonio Banderas is in this. I believe he's the one that sets the whole damn thing up. And Ewan McGregor plays her ex-boyfriend, Kenneth. Turns out to be an asshole and also tries to get her killed. So it's like, oh shit, man. And I love this because after the Fassbender fight, because her and Fassbender are doing this one last mission before she goes back on her vacation, because she was actually on a vacation before all this started, and she had a brooch on her scarf. And while she's executing a mission with Fassbender as husband and wife, fake husband and wife, she notices the reporter that she saved from the Barcelona mission is now dead in a barn in Dublin. And it's like, what the fuck? Also, why is my brooch here? I mean, I love how when she looks at it, we get an immediate reminder of where it was seen and that there was cameras. She immediately understands right then and there, I am being set up. So, yeah, I absolutely love this movie. The fights are really impressive. But the acting talent as well. I mean, when you have these under the radar movies and these low budget films, I'm guessing this is a low budget film. This movie, you have big names. Again, Michael Douglas, Bill Paxton, freaking Michael Fassbender, Ewan McGregor, Channing Tatum. These are all well-known names in a low budget film. And Gina Carano is coming in. She's kicking almost everybody's ass here, except for Michael Douglas. He's actually one of the good guys in this film. So I like that because there's a scene where she meets up with him, and she's like, "What about the guy that that helped me? We'll fix the ding in his car." Really? Okay, I'll buy him a new car. She freaking takes his car with him in it while she's giving him the life story to make sure that he can survive and whatnot. It's all very good. Also, I am sorry in the background if you hear something that is one of the main heaters in the house going off. Hey, Alex Webb, good to see you, man. Thank you for coming in. But yeah, this movie then clicks over to the Dublin fight where they go back to the hotel, and they get back into the room. He hits her in the back of the head, slams her head up against the wall, and this fight just takes off between Michael Fassbender and her. I can't show clips, folks, because if I show clips on YouTube, I will get claimed. My stream will get kicked, and I'll be back in warning status, or possibly kicked off of YouTube for a week or 90 days or something where I can't live stream. So I am sorry, I am not going to play any clips because I do know that YouTube is very funky about that. It makes it harder for my channel to grow. I'm still trying to get to 2,000, and it's kind of been a slow gig. I've been at 1,500 all year, slowly reach 1,600, but getting back to it. This fight is brutal between her and Michael Fassbender. I tried finding screenshots of the fight. I just couldn't find any. Literally, folks, I tried my damn best. Google, Bing, all of them. And it's like, fuck, you know? But the fight between those two, and it's like, holy crap, dude. And then she throws him through a door window. He's throwing her into wall decoratives that are breakable. It's, I mean, man versus woman, folks. She ain't nobody to freaking shake or think that you're gonna beat very easily. And I like how they show that, because it's like, just because she's a woman doesn't mean these people are holding back. They know how skilled she is, so they'll fight her. And this is the thing. These fights are not one-sided. Gina's character, Mallory, is no Mary Sue by any stretch. She struggles. She gets hurt. I mean, she falls off a roof, or climbing down from a roof in Dublin, falls off and smacks on the ground pretty rather hard, almost breaks her freaking ribs while she's at it. And it's like, oh, dang. And she stays there because it's like, for a moment, it's like, yeah, that kind of hurt. So, yeah, she's definitely not Supergirl by any measure. And that's what I like about that, because she is not one to, or they show that she's not invincible. And I really like that. There's a chase scene in Barcelona where it's rather extended, and it might take some people out of the experience because of how long it takes. But you see just how much she can run. And Gina Carano, when she runs in this film. And then she makes her way back to the U.S. to meet with her father, played brilliantly by Bill Paxton. As small as a role as it is, Bill Paxton's roles in many of the movies that he's in are freaking memorable. And he does a great job. She's letting him know, it's like, they're going to ask you this, they're going to tell you this, they're going to basically paint me in the worst possible picture. The one with the broken arm, keep mentioning Barcelona. That'll get him to start questioning himself. And then she gets up in this getup, where she is in the house, and then she calls from a overseas prepaid phone, and they're running a trace on it, and it's like, she's here. What do you mean she's here? She's in the house. So here's that great moment. And her father gets a serious look at who she is and what she's capable of, because she does kill a man right in front of him. And you see that he's kind of shocked, but not really. I mean, you could tell that this man has seen things himself, you know? He's an author. He's written books about, I believe, military and spy shit. I can't remember completely. I just rewatched this movie. It's just I forgot to pay close attention to what it was. But yes, he sees her kill this guy who was attacking her, so it is defense, you know? And then she goes down to help Channing Tatum, whose character finally questioned the boss a little too much, and he ended up getting gut shot and ends up dying. She's trying to help him, but she ends up dying. Now, here's the thing. They only met 8 days ago, only on that mission. Yes, they fought. Yes, she broke his arm and whatnot. And it's like, I can't believe I met you 8 days or 7 days ago. She's like, eight days. But it's a small comforting moment to comfort him as he passes. And he ends up dying. Yes, there's also a scene in which it's a lead up to a sleep with scene. There's no sex in the show or in the movie, but you basically get the idea that they did have sex once. And so when she's comforted by her father, she's looking up almost as if she doesn't feel anything about it. But it's also because she's insanely focused on what has transpired. My guess is she's not allowing her character to feel. There are things that I would have done a little bit differently in this film, just a little bit. But, you know, the director has his vision, and we can all pick them apart, but honestly, I've never made a film. However, if I was making a film like this, there are a couple things that I would have done slightly differently. One of them I would have, or while she's looking up, you still see a tear, at least one tear that she sheds for a guy who helped her or ended up helping her and also, well, did sleep with her, to show that there is a slight bit of care beyond just that small comfort that she gives him while she's trying to keep him alive. So, but it's also a good moment because with her showing no emotion, it also shows that she is still insanely focused on her goal because she misses getting the guy that she's after in that scene. And so she has to find him again. And he runs south of the border. Yeah. And I love the scene. The wonderful thing about the fight scenes, folks, the fight scenes don't have music in them. They don't have music in them. And that is a great thing because when you have fight scenes, yes, they can be enhanced by the music, sure. But in these situations, in these very visceral and very brutal fight scenes, they want you focused on the fight. They're not going to play music. That is a brilliant stroke by Soderbergh, the director. It's like, I don't think I want to put music in this. So, yeah, that's where you're drawing the focus to the fight itself. Because these fights are personal. And even if they seem not personal. I mean, the one between Fassbender and Gina, she knows she was just framed as they're returning, or she knows that she has been framed. She knows she's been set up. So when they're returning to the hotel, I love how she, at the door, they show her taking her high heels off. She knows she's about to get into a fight. She is expecting a fight. What she doesn't expect is the guy to go cheap shot on her and by hitting her in the back of the head first and then basically going after her, catching her off guard. That was also a good thing because it shows not everybody or she knows there's a fight. She's not anticipating when the fight is starting. Yes, this film has an absolutely amazing cast. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So yeah, when she fights him, or when she fights Fassbender, it's a great scene because then she just coldly kills him. Pillow, pistol, boom. And it's like, well, yeah, that will muffle a gunshot. So these fights are great. The ending of the movie where she fights Ewan McGregor and he gets caught in the tide area. She's like, she basically wants to know why she was set up. Because when she calls the number of an unknown recipient or a confidential recipient, it turns out to be her ex-boyfriend and boss, Kenneth. And he's like, well, Paul, is the divorce final? Which is code speak for, is she dead? And when nothing happens, no one's answering, well, Kenneth figures it out. Mallory. And so she hangs up. It's like, yeah, this bitch is about to go John Wick on my ass. This is before John Wick existed. Jeez, now I want to see John Wick and Gina Carano in a movie together. If they do a fifth one, they should put Gina Carano in that movie. Gina Carano in a John Wick movie, along with Alex Winter, and have Alex Winter play one of John Wick's former friends, who's working for the high table, because that just would make sense. I mean, that's how I would do it. But getting back to this one, she beats his ass, and then she just leaves him stuck with his broken leg in between the rocks as the tide's coming in. So it's like, she finds out who basically is responsible for the whole setup, which is Antonio Banderas. Now, the ending is basically her dropping down in his hacienda area, or from the top of his house, and him turning back and looking at her and going, oh, shit. But it also shows her rising up into shot and looking at him with daggers with daggers in her eyes, ready to kill him. But honestly, as good of an ending as that was, I would have done this. When she drops down behind him, he turns around, and says, oh shit, that's it. Because you know there's nothing else that needs to be done. You don't need to show her coming up into shot. Just show her dropping down, him turning around and being like, oh shit. And that's it. That's how I would have ended it. But, you know, again, director has their own say, and that's how they made the movie. Me personally, that's how I would have done it. But I'm not saying that to shit on the director by any means. I'm saying that that is how I would have done it. Objectively, this film has editing problems that would confuse the viewers. They don't know, or there are certain things. I would have made this movie at least an hour 45, because I would have shown her arriving at her father's, talking to him, having a small hug because she's been through she's been through some shit. But honestly, I would have had that happen. I would have extended a few scenes here, like her plans as she's making her way to the states, maybe on a boat, fake ID from London to Canada, and then to or across the border into the U.S. She explains all of it. However, sometimes you do need to see some of it, because that way you do spread the movie out a little bit. This movie is fast paced. Nothing wrong with that. I love fast paced movies. However, editing can confuse some of the people, you know? So when they do Barcelona, then they go to do Dublin, and then they're jumping back and forth to the present. Her trying to evade the law while she's in the U.S. and taking Michael Angarano along with her until she finally escapes the LEOs, or the Leos. And I love that. What are Leos? Law enforcement officers. She explains it, so it's like, nice, you know? And then they have this one digital shot with the deer that just smacks in the back end of the vehicle. And it's like, you guys get a fake deer carcass, or was that a real deer carcass? These are some of the things that I do ask about, because I would really like to know, you know? These are the kind of things that a person likes to know when they are into movies this much. And that's the wonderful thing about these. When you immerse yourselves into these movies, you do kind of wonder, is it like, did they bring in a real deer? Obviously, no animals were hurt in the making of the film. But it's like, as a fake deer jumps and smacks into the back of them as they're backing up, which is kind of, she's like, it's like, okay, now what do we do? Do we run for it? No, we've done enough. Hands up. We're caught. I mean, the scenes with Michael Angarano, I barely recognized him after Forbidden Kingdom. But it's like, well, he's obviously grown a little bit more, you know? And it's done really well. So this movie, he doesn't play the kung fu badass that he learns to be in this, or at the end of that movie. He's just a regular bystander that got caught up in the middle of shit in the wrong place at the wrong time, and was given some information to save his life, which it worked. But yeah, folks, this film, great actors, great directing. A couple of things I would have done differently, but if you can do, or if you really are watching a movie and critiquing a movie like I do, like I've been doing for a few years now, you learn to refine your technique. Me, I'm not shitting on a director. I'm not shitting on the actors or anything like that. I'm simply telling it what my subjective opinion is, as well as giving some objective analysis. Editing is an objective analysis. There are some scenes that don't quite click properly that can confuse the audience. That is an objective analysis, where if I say I feel that this could have been done better, or I feel that that could have done better, that's subjective. I do feel that it is important that people understand the two, or the difference between the two. Rating the movie, objective standpoint, objective score, I would put this movie around a solid 8. There are some editing. There is some bits that are not perfectly done well, like that one digital shot. I'm guessing they didn't have a huge budget for the film, but one digital shot with the deer, that you could tell it was very much digital. So that does take a bit out of it. The film paces rather well, gets a little slow here and there, but then it picks up. So the pacing is a slightly uneven. However, subjective, Forbidden Kingdom, I should probably do a review for that next year, which I am planning to. The subjective, I believe I did a mystery review on Forbidden Kingdom. I could be wrong though. Me and Mara might do it for singles. And it's snowing, so I got a shovel later. But for the single, or for this film, subjectively, I love Haywire. It's a 10 out of 10. Brilliantly done. This film had an excellent cast. I mean, let me show off the cast here. I mean, again, Michael Fassbender, Michael Douglas, Channing Tatum, Ewan McGregor, Antonio Banderas, Bill Paxton, and Gina Carano. Those are some of some top mark names in Hollywood during the 2000s and 2010s. Michael Fassbender was just coming up in the 2000s, from what I believe. I mean, the earliest film I remember seeing him in was 300. So that's the earliest film I remember seeing him in. And he was I believe he was Stelios. He was the Spartan that was insanely loyal. Insanely loyal. And just ready to die at a moment's notice, you know? But in this, he just plays an MI6 British guy. And they show it's like, but I do like that he has a professional attitude when all the context is being explained by Ewan McGregor. He's like, the motive for this is strictly professional, I do gather, right? Ewan McGregor, he's like, the motive is money, Paul. It's always about money, man. It's like, oh, okay, he goes with it. So, but yeah, this movie is definitely a 10 out of 10. I subjectively, moviegoer, it's a 9 out of 10 because yes, it's only 93 minutes long. However, you might check your watch at one point or another. So I am not going to give it a perfect moviegoer score. Moviegoer is where I do not break it down. I simply base it on entertainment factor alone or whether or not it keeps a person's interest. So yes, the movie does have a moment where you might check your watch. My movie. So with that in mind, I actually really surprised that this film didn't do better and or went under the radar like it did and stuff. Yeah. I mean, with the great cast in mind. That's the thing. That's the thing. These movies, when they pass under the radar, they won't do well. I'm trying to figure out what was coming out in 2011. This film is from. So Thor, or it's either Thor or Captain America. No, Captain America was 2012. So Thor, if this movie came out anytime during or around the time that Thor came out in May, it would be completely understandable why this film probably didn't get as much audience as they wanted to, because that was the birth of the MCU and they were starting to create the MCU then. So I can understand but that is if this movie came out. So I'm actually going to look that up. Haywire movie release date 2011. Well then, it wasn't during Thor. This was premiered at the AFI Film Festival in November 6th and received a wide release on January 20th, 2012. So, well, we all know what was going on in January 20th. No, wait, that would have been 2013? Yeah, that would have been 2013. Would have been an inauguration day, but let's see here. 2012. Trying to think what came, but well, Captain America's release. That was July 19th, 2011. So, huh. Movie releases January 2011. Let's try to figure out why this movie went under the radar. Or 2012, rather. There isn't much information about movies released in January 12, but there are some movies that were released in. Okay, so Avengers, Dark Knight Rises, Hunger Games, Skyfall, Hobbit. I mean, you're looking at a shit ton of movies. Movies that are released in January are often those that didn't do well in early test screenings or didn't have a wide appeal. This can make it difficult for them to make money because movie theater attendances are usually low in January. So, yeah, that would be the reason why this movie fell under the radar. It's because you're not getting a lot of attendance in January, apparently. So, the studio must not have had a lot of faith in this film. However, this film still gained a massive following. I mean, if you ask how widely known Haywire is now, after Gina Carano has built her career, a lot of people would be like, yeah, I've seen that movie. I love that movie. But if you ask them about seeing it in the theaters, they'd be like, if we never knew this movie existed until a certain time. So, yes, that is the movie. That is Haywire. Let's see here. I don't have the other movie that I was going to put on here, but the next week movie is another movie that y'all probably know the title to, but I don't know if you're aware of it. It's called The Avengers, and it's not the Avengers that you think it is. It's not the 2012 Avengers. It's the 1990s Avengers, and I'm not talking about the Marvel ones. I'm talking about the Uma Thurman and Ray Fiennes film. So definitely tune in for that one. It's not going to be next Tuesday. It's going to be Monday. Next Tuesday, I have an eye appointment that I can't afford to miss. So, yes, thank you, everybody. Alex Webb, Vanya, and those who are on X who are watching. Y'all freaking make this possible. If you want to support my channel, simply subscribe to it, like the videos, watch the videos, share the content. That's the best way to support my channel. I ain't in it for the money. I'm just trying to be informative and entertaining. That's the kind of person I am. I ain't in it for money. Anyway, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. I will be on the Barroom podcast tonight, and I will record that video that I had no audio in before the movie or before my stream. So I got to do a re-recording of that. Anyway, thank you all so much for tuning in. This has been Orange Chat. Y'all have a wonderful day, and always remember to stay humble.
Are you done? Are you done?